Goody Camp Blood, ain't ya? You'll never come back again. It's got a death curse.
Hello everybody, it's D-Laps, and I'm here to review Friday the 13th Part 4 and do a little bit of a backstory as well. Well, it all starts with Friday the 13th Part 3 was released August 13th, 1982, and it made bank, son. At a budget of only $2.3 million, Part 3 ended up grossing $36.7 million in theaters. Even though the public loved Friday the 13th, the film critics and media did not. Every time a Friday movie would release, more articles would be published, talking about the excessive amount of blood and gore and the pointless nudity. Tired of getting the negative media press, Paramount decided to make the next Friday the last one.
I was told that this is the last one. They didn't want to make any more, and they were happy with the ones they made, but they didn't want to make any more.
Paramount Studios requested the director to make this one more terrifying, more gruesome, and a definite conclusion to the series. So they got the one man who could truly kill off Jason, the one who created him.
I gave him birth in part one. It's like a Frankenstein syndrome. I'm taking care of killing my monster that I created, okay? Plus they paid me a fortune.
Tom Savini was the original special effects artist on the first Friday film. Thinking about the coolest ways to kill somebody was Tom Savini's life. But one thing Tom Savini and the director hated was the rating board.
What happened with Friday 4 is that Motion Picture Association of America was really on us.
Now I'm going to show you a few of the scenes the rating board had issues with and compare them with the original. They're not that bad. Yes, this looks totally brutal, and the scene does go for a while, but come on, man, we're all grown-ups, we can handle shit like this. The director and the studio pretty much made a deal with the rating board that they would cut back on the violence of the murders if they could show more of the death of Jason. Friday the 13th was released April 13th, 1984, and made back its budget of $2.6 million in the first 2 days of release. The fans loved the movie, but the critics fucking hated it.
It's Friday the 13th, the final chapter, an immoral and reprehensible piece of trash that sold more tickets on its opening weekend. Nailed, chopped up, and mutilated. That's all this movie is. It's just mindless, bloody violence.
It's just a mayhem film, or you might as well watch car accidents edited together. Or
See, the thing is, they made the first one. Okay.
I thought it was horrible.
The first one was horrible. Then they made the second one.
Yeah.
Then they made the third one. All it is the teenagers go to Crystal Lake and they're killed.
Stabbing. In other words, if you like this picture, what you have liked, I believe, is the idea that someone will get a stick put through their body, because that is.
This isn't the final chapter. That's just an advertising gimmick. The ending clearly sets up a sequel. Whoever made this movie ought to be ashamed of themselves, and that's what I think.
Well, there you have it, folks, my little backstory of Friday the 13th Part 4, but now here's my review. This Friday is the last Friday that kind of has that old, cheap feel to it. And this is also the last Friday that's kind of scary, because Part 5 kind of turns into a psychological thriller, and then Part 6 is the undead Jason, but in Part 6 they started adding more comedy. The story follows directly after the third Friday. Now, seeing that Jason got an axe in the head in Part 3, you'd assume that he's dead, and the director decided to let the audience wait a little while before Jason returned, to build up the suspense, which I think pays off when he ends up killing the morgue doctor and the nurse. But I always found it a little weird that he killed 2 people at the hospital, then he takes off back to the lake. I'm assuming the police show up at some time, see the 2 dead bodies, see that Jason's not there, and think, hey, maybe we should investigate the lake. Because the police know it's Jason, they know Jason kills at a certain area, but not one cop goes to that lake and asks any questions. Weird. Now, I think all the cast members and acting is excellent in this film. Well, that's not exactly true. There are these 2 twin girls in the movie. And yes, they are very hot, but they dress like morons and they're fucking stupid. This Friday also has a very young Corey Feldman, and his next movie after this is The Goonies. And also Christian Glover is in this movie as well. His next movie is Back to the Future. Glover does a hilarious dance in the film. It's fucking epic. And Corey Feldman, One of the reasons why I like this movie is because most of the kids feel more realistic than all the other films. You end up really liking his character, and when he's put in danger, you feel genuinely frightened, scared, and concerned for him. Like a parent, you want to try to protect him. That's what I feel that this film does. It makes you care more about the characters because they are more believable, more realistic. It gives you more empathy for them, so when they die, you feel more emotion. And because there's more of a family element in this movie, it becomes way more relatable to people who watch it, because they imagine it could be their family being attacked. You know what I miss? I miss old style music like this. It's very loud, it's pitchy, it's intense. Old fashioned soundtracks from the 80s always sounded more menacing, eerie, scary, spooky. Now let's talk about the special effects and gore and violence in this movie. It is awesome! Even with all the cuts this movie had to go through to get the R rating, it's still pretty gory. Tom Savini was the master when it came to practical, gory effects. He came up with the most goriest and violent deaths you would ever see on screen. Sadly, he's been replaced with CGI nonsense, which is pretty much the film industry standard now. But it's a shame because seeing those old practical effects, I felt it was more shocking. Also, real quick, I want to talk about the ending. When Corey Feldman kind of stops what he's doing, runs upstairs, shaves his head, and then comes back downstairs, I absolutely fucking hate this scene. I hate everything about it. I hate that they imply or they hint that Corey Feldman could become the new Jason. I think this is totally the wrong direction they went. They could have had the exact same ending without him running upstairs and shaving his fucking head. And also not to have that ridiculous look at the end of the movie he does, implying that he could be the next Jason. And the stupid fucking thing is that they actually continued with that plot line into part 5, which ended up being a piece of shit. Spoiler, review coming soon. Now I'm gonna rate this, and because of those parts with Corey Feldman and shaving his head and all that nonsense, I'm gonna rate it a little lower because that pissed me off. So I'm gonna give this a 7.5 out of 10. It would have got a little higher if the shaving scene and the look scene at the end were missing. And also, I would have gave it a higher rating if it had this ending, which was supposed to be the ending. In the original ending, it's the next morning and they awake from the couch. She notices that there's water dripping from the steps, so she investigates the bathroom, and that's where she finds her mother dead in the bathtub. You never find out in the movie what happens to her, but she actually died. This also has the shock ending that the first 3 movies had, but they decided to remove this scene because they felt it was just too much. Alright everybody, that's like my mini documentary and my review of Friday the 13th Part 4. If you guys enjoyed this, I've done lots of other reviews on some devices. You should see some boxes popping up right now. Those boxes you can push and they'll bring you to other reviews I've done in the past. So please check them out. Thank you everybody for watching. Thumbs up, comment below, everything would be great. Thank you so much.